Hello, friends, and welcome back to Stories About Entitled People. Let's start our video with a story that shows just how much strength it takes to stand up for yourself, especially when dealing with toxic family members who think they can walk all over you. In which entitled aunt and uncle decided to throw a family reunion. I was reminded of this story the other day. It's been 14 years since I last saw my uncle and his wife, who I've taken to calling Ice B. This all went down at the end of May 2010 during my final exam week at community college. I was just finishing up my first year and I was focused on getting through my exams when everything fell apart. It was a Sunday right before finals week and I was at the mall taking a much-needed break from studying math. Suddenly, I got a call from my mom telling me to get home immediately. Apparently, my uncle had called out of the blue announcing that he, his wife, and 2 adult children were 2 hours away from our house. That was all the warning we got before they descended on us. This was a complete shock because we lived in Florida while they were coming from California, New Jersey, and Connecticut. We had no idea they were planning to visit, let alone stay with us. Over the phone, my mom told me she had tried to persuade them not to come or at least stay in a hotel since I still had school, but they weren't having it. They told her that family came first, and besides, they said, I was going to drop out anyway, just like the rest of them had. I rushed home and started cleaning like a madwoman. My room needed to be cleared of anything that wasn't baby-proofed because my cousin was bringing his wife and their toddler son. For the record, my cousins are great people, and their kids have grown up to be wonderful. They had no idea we were in the dark about this visit. My concern wasn't about them. I was worried about Ice B. I knew she'd find a way to make my life hell if she found anything she deemed inappropriate in my room. So I packed up all my valuables, manga, favorite books, statues, posters, gaming systems, you name it, and stuffed them into plastic containers that I hid in the garage. It wasn't that I didn't trust my cousins, but I wasn't taking any chances with Ice B. And sure enough, when Uncle and Ice B arrived, the first thing she said was, "See, I told you she wasn't studying. She should just drop out." If my uncle had said that, I could have ignored it. But this was Ice B, the woman who broke up my uncle's first marriage, nearly made him miss his son's wedding because my cousin-in-law is Hindu, and constantly told my mom that all my occult items, anime, would lead me to worship the devil. She made it impossible for me to have a relationship with my uncle, throwing away every Christmas gift I ever sent him just because she was a Jehovah's Witness and they weren't allowed in her house. Needless to say, I wasn't going to let her walk all over me. "Still not a dropout," I replied. "Just here to let you people into my house." "Excuse me," she snapped. "Does it ever occur to you people that I'm 18 and might have exams? If I were still in high school, I'd have classes. Your poor planning's gonna screw up my week." Ice B exploded, screaming that I was an ungrateful child, that I had no right to speak to them like that, and that my attitude was all my dead father's fault. "Yeah, right," I shot back. "My Disney-loving, Air Force vet, softball-playing father who died of cancer is the reason I have an attitude. No, that would be my Disney-loving, Monty Python-watching, Beatles-worshipping, Veterans Affairs-working mother who's busted her butt for years to raise me. No thanks to you doing everything in your power to keep me from having any connection to my mom's side of the family. Have you gone to a hotel yet? I have studying to do." I stormed back inside. 2 minutes later, my mom pulled up and Ice B unloaded on her. My mom's response was priceless. "She's 18. She can say what she wants in my house. Besides, we weren't the ones who made reunion plans and told the entire damn family without telling the hosts first. Now stop squawking like a harpy and let's get inside. My neighbors didn't pay to see this argument." Over the next 3 days, my mom, who wanted to see me succeed, did everything she could to help me avoid the chaos at home. I spent my days studying at school and only came home for dinner, which was my usual routine. While I managed to do well on most of my exams, I struggled with math, which had never been my strong suit. The constant interruptions from Ice B, who kept stealing my mom's phone to text me fake SOS messages, cost me valuable study time. My mom eventually put a stop to it, but the damage was already done. After my last exam, I called my mom to share the good news that I'd aced my creative writing class. She told me that everyone except Ice B was headed to the beach and that I was invited to join them. I decided to treat myself to some new books first and then meet up with the family. While browsing at the bookstore, I picked up some manga and a few pro-LGBT YA novels. The night before, Ice B had told the entire family that I was going to hell because she found one of my statues in the garage and assumed it was a girl, therefore labeling me as a lesbian. For the record, I'm bi, but who cares? Also, the statue was of Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist, not a girl. Everyone except my uncle told her to can it since toddlers were listening and repeating things, but I'm not above a bit of petty revenge, so I bought the books anyway. After leaving the bookstore, I spontaneously decided to join the family at the beach despite being in jeans and a t-shirt. I wanted to spend time with the relatives I actually liked. When we got home, Ice B was furious that I hadn't stuck to my original plans, but the worst part was when she casually mentioned that she had taken care of all the trash in the garage for me. I froze, realizing that she was talking about my packed up belongings. The stuff I had in the garage was worth about $2,000, including items I'd brought back from a trip to Japan, my SNES and some rare games, and my brand new PlayStation 3. I was in shock. Before I could react, my mom stepped in. She calmly walked up to Ice B and said, "I hope you didn't touch Riley's things. She's worked hard to find something she loves. But if you did, I hope you're ready to pay her what they're worth. Regardless, get the F out of my house." My mom doesn't usually swear, especially not in front of someone under 10, but she'd reached her breaking point. While she values family, she values me more. When my dad died, it was just the two of us, and we've been a team ever since. Ice B turned tail and fled to the guest room. I ran to the garage where I found all my things stuffed into trash bags inside the trash cans. Thankfully, nothing was outright broken, just some damaged game cases and a few torn manga covers. My cousins helped me carefully repack everything and bring the books inside. Meanwhile, my uncle tried to reason with my mom, insisting that I was the one being rude and needed to be punished. My mom pointed out that punishment in our house meant turning off the Wi-Fi or taking away my PS3 power cable, not destroying my valued possessions. That was just cruel. Uncle and Ice B left for a hotel, and the rest of us spent a quiet night at home, sharing memories, playing games, and relaxing. My cousins decided not to take sides, but privately checked to make sure I was okay. They still have a relationship with their dad, but Ice B isn't part of the package. In fact, they've adopted my nickname for her, though only when the kids aren't around. After everyone had returned to their own states, my mom started receiving a series of emails from Ice B. They began with fake apologies and excuses, which my mom ignored. But the final email was what broke our family. In it, Ice B flat out told my mom that she should have aborted me or, failing that, drowned me after my dad died. With my permission, my mom called my uncle and told him everything. She explained that a year after my dad died, I'd contemplated suicide in the exact manner Ice B described. I didn't go through with it, and I credit anime for helping me realize that people had it worse and that I could be stronger. My mom told Uncle that Ice B was never to contact us again, and that as long as he remained married to her, he wasn't welcome in our home. It's been 14 years since that day. I'm now 32, a college graduate with a degree in creative writing, working on my first book, as well as a short story and poetry collection. We haven't spoken to Uncle or Ice B since then, and I don't regret it. Throwing your things away is totally unwarranted. You're best off without people like that in your life. At least you've kept close to your cousins. Hopefully your uncle will see the lights. I wouldn't count on it after this amount of time, though. And our last story. The housing cooperative is driving me crazy. I'm living in a block of flats with slightly higher standards, meaning we have a gate and our own parking spaces, trash cans, camera system, everything. I work as a programmer and remotely. I'm also single and I keep mostly to myself, try to never harm anyone, not get in any drama, just live slowly and steadily alone, barely leaving home except doing groceries. So my neighbors know me as that homeowner that never causes any problems and is always helpful and polite. One time I had to replace my current bed. It was old and dirty and I just wanted something better, so I ordered a new bed and dismantled my old one, ready to be taken out. Once every 2 weeks, a truck comes through and checks the neighborhood to take away all the big things set beside the trash containers. That day was tomorrow. Sadly, I live on floor 3, so taking my old bed alone would be just too hard for me alone. I asked my brother for help, but he couldn't have done it tomorrow, so he just helped today. Now, before this, our block's terms of service say that you're not allowed to put out big trash except on the day the truck comes. So not wanting to make any outburst, I asked my favorite neighbor for a favor if I could put it on his parking spot day before because, well, I wouldn't be able to do it on the correct day. He gave me a thumbs up. Then I checked with another member of Housing Cooperative Board. If it's fine, since the owner of the spot knows, he also said it's okay for him. I moved on with the plan. My brother came in, we moved my old bed outside, occupied the spot, and called it a day. That's when the Karen came in. She's around 50-plus years old from looks. You know, the type that sits the whole day in the window and tries to find something to complain about. She got into my home and tried to explain that it's against our community rules, so I had to have it taken away right now. I, in exchange, tried to explain to her why I did that, how I got approval from people and whatnot. She wasn't having it. She threatened to call the police on me for littering if I didn't get it done today. I said, sure, okay. I guess I'm technically in the wrong here, so I'll just comply. I called the private company to take away the bed today. I also specifically went to her home and told her it'd be done today. She said fine. So the truck arrives, they start taking away the bed, and so does the police. Apparently she already did call the police without waiting for me to do anything. I'm livid and literally panicking, not because I was afraid of a fine or anything, but just because it was the first time in my life that someone did something hostile for me, even though I said I'd do what she wants. I explained the whole situation. The police see no problem. They don't even cite me for anything. They just give me a handshake, pat my back, and leave. The lady that called the police looks out the window and yells, "Thank you, officers," with a grin. I'm even more upset at this point. I think to myself, you want to perfectly obey the law? Fine. I'll make sure you do. I got the community rules from the council and studied them thoroughly to find potential reasons to make her life hell. I see her taking out the trash. I hear her glass bottles in the bag. I look out the window. She throws it in the wrong container. I call the community board. Bam, your rent went up because you don't comply with our sorting garbage rules. Next day, I come back from groceries. I see her car. She parked a little over the line, so it's basically like taking up 2 spaces. I call the police. Bam, she gets a fine. She walks out her dog in our private space. As I watch her through the window, I see her dog pooping, but she doesn't scoop it up. Oh, did you just do that? I call community board with a complaint. She came to me and wanted to apologize. Now here's the part that makes me look bad. I said, no, I don't accept it. Why? Because I admit I'm vindictive to people who try to create trouble for others without a very good reason. I said, all I'm doing is making sure you're following the community rules. Is that wrong? And she scoffed at me something rude and went away. I've been doing that for like 3 months now. A month ago, she was kicked off the board for too many rule violations. Today, she moved out, but before she did, she made sure to put a bag of trash on my doorstep while I was away. Sad for her. She's stupid, and the trash contained a letter with her information on it, so I had the last laugh by reporting it to the police. I know, rules are rules. I was technically in the wrong first for breaking them, but the moment she went out of her way to enforce them and then screw me anyway, that was when the line was crossed. I have no shame for bullying her out of here. I was just doing the God's work and ensuring that the rules are not broken. I love it. Even with approval, she wanted to be the enforcer, and then got kicked out for being a problem. Well done. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.